The American experience. Men, women, and children settling a new continent. The muzzleloader is part of that history. It helped people hunt, defend themselves, and fight wars. From colonial times to Bull Run, from the Battle of New Orleans to the Cumberland Gap, the muzzleloader was there, aiding the pioneers of the time. Today, the tradition continues as Americans of all ages participate in the fastest growing of all shooting sports, muzzleloading. People are attracted to the excitement of smoke and fire bellowing from these antique-looking guns, and also to the pageantry that surrounds muzzleloading events. Participants sport authentic costumes and test their target and hunting skills with age-old shooter technology. Through this experience, they gain insights to what it was like for our pioneer ancestors of early America.
The firearms today, we need to talk about safety.
As with all shooting sports,
the
knowledge of the equipment and safety are paramount. What makes muzzleloading unique, however, is its basic ingredient, black powder, and the method for loading the rifle. Almost 1,000 years ago, the Chinese discovered the explosive nature of black powder. This breakthrough invention was initially used for spectacular fireworks displays. It is from this beginning that black powder was developed. Instructor John Smith explains to his 4-H group some black powder basics.
Never load a muzzleloader with modern smokeless powder. It builds up dangerous gas pressure that may damage the gun or injure you as a shooter.
Even though modern smokeless powders may be black in color, they are not to be used in a muzzleloading firearm. Use only black powder, or the replica black powder, Pyrodex, never smokeless powder. Always read the label to know exactly what kind of powder you're using. Black powder is explosive and builds its pressure as soon as it is ignited. Smokeless powder burns progressively and continues to build pressure after initial ignition. There are different grades of powders for different types of guns. 2FG black powder, also known as double FG, and Pyrodex RS are usually used for rifles, .50 caliber or larger, and most shotguns. 3FG, also called triple FG, and Pyrodex P are usually used in pistols and smaller caliber rifles. 4FG black powder is only used for priming the pan of flintlocks. Never use it as the main charge. It is finely ground and will burn rapidly in the chamber, causing excess pressure that could damage the firearm. It's carried in a separate pan charger or small priming horn.
Black powder that you buy in the store comes.
More with John and the kids later. By the way, I'm Gunsmoke Gus, and I'd like to tell you how muzzleloaders have changed through the years. The matchlock was the first really effective firearm that used black powder. It was developed by the English in 1444. The wheel lock was next in 1510, and it worked like a giant cigarette lighter, creating a spark which lit the powder. Now you know why cigarette smoking and muzzleloaders don't mix. Development of firearms progressed rapidly, and by 1550, the flintlock was developed. When the trigger's pulled, the hammer, which holds the flint, falls and strikes the flint against a metal plate called the frizzen. This makes a shower of sparks, igniting the priming powder, which in turn ignites the main powder charge in the barrel. The flintlock was in general use throughout the world, and no major changes took place until 1807, when an English minister developed the percussion lock. Here, when the trigger is pulled, the hammer strikes a percussion cap, a small metal cup holding a pressure-sensitive explosive. This causes the priming compound to ignite, shooting a burst of flame through the nipple into the main charge of powder in the barrel.
The flintlock and the caplock are the two types of muzzleloaders available today in a variety of rifles and shotguns.
A third type of muzzleloader that is very popular today is the inline rifle.
There are many things to consider when choosing a muzzleloader. The intended use for hunting or target shooting will determine what caliber you choose, and the size and weight you choose will depend on how the firearm fits you. It's best to consult a qualified person to help you with your selection. Muzzleloading requires several accessories not needed with a modern firearm.
Today we're going to talk about the
Travis, a 4-H
proper loading
member,
procedure
will
for a
use these
muzzleloader.
accessories as he loads and fires a
First thing you
percussion
need to do
cap-lock
is pull
rifle.
the ramrod out and make sure
The
muzzleloader's
first step
unloaded.
in loading a firearm is to make sure it's unloaded. Drop the ramrod down the barrel and
hear the
listen
clink?
for a clink. Mark the ramrod at the
Mark
muzzle.
The ramrod even with the end
Take
of
the
barrel.
ramrod out of the barrel and lay it alongside with the mark even with the muzzle. The tip of the ramrod reaches the breech plug, indicating that this rifle is unloaded.
Your mark.
Now, Travis attaches a cleaning jag to the ramrod and runs a cleaning patch through the barrel to make sure it is clean. Next, he checks the nipple for any
The next step
obstructions.
is to make sure that the nipple is clear. Travis, now you need to put on your
First, Travis
eye
puts on a
protection,
pair
your
of safety glasses and ear protection.
and we're going to go down and fire a couple of caps through the muzzleloader to make sure the fire
To make sure the fire channel to the powder chamber has no obstructions, he'll snap a couple of caps on the nipple.
fire this first cap downrange. You have to pull
The
it
first
back.
cap is fired downrange. The second is fired at a blade of grass. The quick movement of the grass caused by the air forced from the barrel indicates the fire channel is clear. The rifle is ready to load.
All right, go ahead and take
Travis leans the muzzleloader against a non-skid surface with the barrel pointing away, protecting him from an accidental discharge.
first step.
Now, he pours the powder charge into a measure. Travis never loads directly from the flask. He knows a spark could ignite the entire container, and the explosion could harm him.
Now you need to fill your powder measure.
This measured charge is then poured down the barrel.
Dump from directly into the flask. into the
Notice that
muzzle.
Travis never looks directly down the barrel while he is loading. This is to protect his face in case of an accidental ignition during
Go
loading.
ahead and tap the barrel to settle the powder.
Travis taps the barrel to settle the powder.
Okay, go ahead and center
He
the
then
muzzle.
places a lubricated patch over the bore, followed by a lead ball. When loading with a round ball, a patch must be used to seal the ball into the barrel.
Speaking of patches, you can see I'm real used to them, and they're required whenever shooting round balls. The spiral grooves cut inside the barrel are called rifling. The patch grips the rifling in the barrel and seals gases made from the burning black powder. You can buy commercially cut patches, or you can make your own from pillow ticking. Just make sure it's 100% cotton or linen. Don't use synthetics or plastic patches. They may melt and foul the bore. Also, they don't grip the ball firmly in the barrel, which may create a safety hazard. Another method of loading is to use a lubricated conical bullet. The bullet is used primarily for hunting. Since the lubricated bullet itself forms a seal in the barrel, it is not necessary to use a patch. Today you may choose a bullet lubed with an all-natural lubricant that is biodegradable and non-petroleum. There is also a variety of sabot bullets to choose from.
Travis is now seating the ball into the bore by using the short arm of what's called the short starter.
Okay, very good. Now use the long arm of the short starter.
The lead ball is
Push the ball on
set
down
deeper
into
with
the
the
barrel.
long arm of the same tool. Following that, he uses the ramrod to seat the ball against the powder charge. Travis uses short strokes, 6 to 8 inches above the muzzle. Using this method, he'll avoid breaking the rod and injuring himself.
Ball down on the powder. Okay, Travis, go ahead. and
Travis
mark
marks the ramrod when the ball is seated firmly against the powder charge. Always make sure the ball is seated firmly against the powder. Now he can see the difference between a loaded and unloaded rifle.
and installed in its proper position.
Remove the ramrod and store it in its proper place under the barrel. Travis puts on ear protection and moves to the firing line. When he's ready to fire, he will make sure the muzzle is pointed in a safe direction and place the cap firmly on the nipple.
Cock.
He brings the hammer to full cock. Travis checks once more to make sure no one is downrange. Now he's ready to fire. It's dangerous to carry a capped firearm when traveling from place to place. If it's necessary to cross a fence, jump a stream, or climb a tree with a muzzleloader, check to be sure the cap is removed. When you reach the new shooting area, always use the ramrod to make sure the bullet is seated on the powder and has not moved during travel. Cap the firearm only when you are ready to shoot.
Gunsmoke is loading his rifle. Now he'll show us how to fire a flintlock.
The flintlock loads in the same manner as the percussion cap lock. The only difference is with the primer. Gunsmoke is now priming the pan with 4FG black powder, 1/4 to 1/3 full, making sure the priming charge is below the fire channel. He closes the frizzen and brings the hammer back full cock.
While we're here at the shooting range, I'd like to remind you to clean the bore of your muzzleloader after every shot.
First, use a patch moistened with solvent or saliva from your mouth and wipe the length of the bore 1 or 2 times. Then, take a dry patch and do it again. This puts out any sparks left from the shot just fired. It also gets rid of burned powder from the last shot. This makes for easier reloading and improves your accuracy. On occasion, muzzleloaders fail to fire, and the charge must be pulled. When the rifle misfires, hold it on your shoulder for at least 10 seconds. Remove it from your shoulder, keeping it pointed down range for 1 minute. Only after waiting 1 minute is it safe to move from the firing line to the loading bench. Remember to keep the muzzle pointed down range at all times. There are 3 common reasons for misfire. The first is loading the ball or bullet without a powder charge in the barrel. This is easy to check. When the ramrod is placed into the barrel and against the ball, the loading mark indicating a loaded barrel will not be visible. The ramrod will go farther into the barrel than it did with a powder charge under the ball. If a ball has been loaded without powder, the ball can be pulled without taking the rifle apart. The second reason for a misfire is an obstruction in the fire channel between the nipple and the main charge. To check on this, place the rifle on a table with the muzzle pointing down range. Remove the percussion cap. Then, use a nipple wrench to remove the nipple. Check the opening in the fire channel to make sure it is clear. Clean the nipple. Make sure it's clean and replace it. Now, recap the rifle. Try firing it again. The third cause for a misfire is a wet powder charge. This happens when the barrel is not dried out after cleaning and the remaining moisture dampens the powder charge. When this happens, the charge must be removed and the barrel thoroughly cleaned before reloading. In all cases, never attempt to pull a charge until the powder has been deactivated. To do this, remove the nipple from the firearm while keeping the muzzle down range. Carefully remove the fore-end wedge and disengage the barrel. Make sure the muzzle is always pointing in a safe direction. Submerge at least 8 inches of the breech section of the barrel in a pail of water. Use hot water if possible. Keep the breech submerged for at least a half hour. Now you can pull the charge. First, attach a ball puller to a strong cleaning rod and screw the end into the ball 2 to 3 turns. Pull on the cleaning rod and the ball should draw out, If this fails, you will need to get professional help. A gunsmith can remove the breech plug, clear the barrel, and reinstall the breech plug.
Another more efficient method to clear the barrel is using the CO2 discharger. The discharger device accepts a CO2 cartridge, which when pressed on the nipple, blows the charge out of the barrel.
Misfires only occur occasionally and won't cause you a big problem if they're handled safely. What will cause you a big problem is if you do not properly care for your firearm. Gunsmoke Gus has already shown you how to properly swab the barrel, but there are other parts of your firearm that need care too.
Jeanette is cleaning her gun with non-abrasive dishwashing soap and hot water. This works fine, or you can use a commercially produced black powder solvent. Use a small brush for cleaning small surfaces and dry with cleaning patches. Saturate a patch with light oil and oil the bore after cleaning. This will leave a protective film inside the barrel to prevent rusting. Don't forget to clean and oil the lock. For that matter, oil all metal parts to keep moving parts working smoothly. For wood parts, apply a good wood oil or wax.
Another method of cleaning your muzzleloader is to use the non-petroleum solvents and the natural lubricants for cleaning and preserving the firearm between uses.
Muzzleloaders offer many opportunities for fun. Besides competitive events at the state, regional, and national level, most black powder is burned making fun. Blanket shoots, rendezvous, axe split shoots, moving targets, historical events, hunting. All these are just some of the events connected with this exciting shooting sport.